Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids, where today we're looking at one of my brand new favorite champions, Foli. We pulled Foli in our first shard pulls here of the year, and when I pulled him, honestly, I thought, hey, that's cool. Foli's a great champion, but you know what? I've got Ethos. I have a Void Legendary AoE nuker. Will I need Foli? Will Foli really be special? Will he change my account in any sort of way? Well, I've built him up. I've just booked him in the clan versus clan tournament that we had. And I can tell you right now that, yeah, Foli is absolutely incredible. And in fact, I went, and you could probably tell if you were looking at their stats and paying attention, I actually moved my best Savage gear from Ethos over to Foli. Ethos is still good for doing his Doom Tower waves and campaign farming and all that. But for the arena, which is going to be the main focus today, Foli is now my main guy. He is amazing. Let's look at his abilities, then I'll show you his build, and we'll see him in action then after that. His A1, marked for destruction, attacks one enemy 4 times, has a 20% chance of putting 60% decreased defense buff for 2 turns. He gets 10% extra damage from books, goes up to a 25% chance of placing decreased defense. And guys, what I want to do in today's video as well... excuse me, what I want to do, which I haven't really gone into much in detail in my other guides, but I think it's very important when we look at certainly arena nukers. And let me know actually if I should include this information in just my guides in general, because it's something that's not in the game. You have to go to, external websites. I'm using Ayumi Love for this, for example. Hell Hades also has it on his websites, but it's the damage multipliers that come with these skills, right? He's a big damage dealer. How much damage does he actually do? So there's a 0.9 times attack damage multiplier per hit on marked for destruction. So in total, it's going to do 3.6 times attack damage on the A1. That's pretty okay for an A1. It's not the hardest hitting A1 in the game, but it's going to do good solid damage. It's a low chance to place decreased defense, but it's still not bad. Another huge thing is this is a 4-hitter, which is a massive deal. That's very unusual. Very few abilities in the game hitting that much makes him a very good option just straight away. Makes him very strong for Fire Knight's Castle, for knocking down the shield if you get him earlier in the game, and also makes him, sneak preview of the Masteries, makes him a very strong contender if you're using him for more of that dungeon content. Again, if you're an earlier game player, makes him phenomenal to go with Giant Slayer. And it's not just his A1 that makes that the case. His A2 then, Bio Disruptor, 3 turn cooldown when booked, attacks 4 times at random, each hit having a 35%, goes up to a 45% with books, chance of placing a leech debuff for 2 turns. We also get a bonus 15% damage from our books here as well. So again, against something like the Fire Knight, now he has another skill which is going to attack 4 times, start burning through that Fire Knight shield. Against the clan boss, again, 4 hits. All of these can proc Giant Slayer, so that becomes a very good option for PvE. Not the build we're going with today, but it is something to bear in mind. Again, I think this is pretty solid, right? Applying Leech is quite nice. It's actually quite good. So yeah, you put them together and you could do a tanky build for early game dungeons, early game clan boss, and it'd be good. This is actually very useful as well for faction wars. That Leech, Dark Elves are very lacking in healers, so it's a nice little bit of extra healing to keep you up and keep you going. There is a 1.5 times attack multiplier on each of these hits for a total of 6 times attack on the damage, right? So there you go. It is random in terms of its hits, which is a downside, but it does decent damage. Then probably his biggest draw is his A3. This is what makes him stand out in arena. Sealed Fate, 4 turn cooldown when booked, attacks all enemies, decreases their turn meters by 15%, and then attacks the targeted enemy a second time. Enemies killed by this skill cannot be revived. This gets an extra 15% damage from books, and this has a 4 times attack multiplier on it. So in terms of just an AoE nuke, it's already a really good AoE nuke. It's not the best one in the game. Like Trunda has a double hitter that has a 3 times attack multiplier, for example. So her big AoE, famously probably the easiest to build and easiest to achieve, hardest hitting AoE in the game, is a 6 times attack multiplier. So he's a good bit lower at the 4 times attack, but it's still very strong just comparatively to all of the champions in the game. On top of doing a turn meter decrease, which is great, though we haven't really built him with accuracy, but any enemies with no resistance, he will decrease their turn meter. And then bear in mind, it gives you another targeted attack, which does another 4 times attack multiplier attack on them. So the person that you target actually matters in Arena. You can choose your target with Foli, and he'll AoE everyone for 4 times attack. He hits the target you choose for 8 times attack when you put those 2 attacks together. And because it's 2 hits as well, it helps you get around certain things. So in particular, Rotos would probably be the most famous example for Arena, who cannot take more than half of his health in a single attack. Foli walks in, goes, Grant, I'll attack you twice in the 1 hit, and you're dead, right? You're not going to live through that, Mr. Rotos. Blocking Revive is the big draw, though. Everything else it does is amazing, but blocking Revive is what makes this exceptional, particularly when you consider how hard you can nuke a single person with this. Because you kill someone off in the arena, you stop them from reviving, and that fight just swings hugely in your favor, and it's so hard for enemy teams to come back from that because they just can't revive anyone. I think, as far as I am aware, the only thing that can get around this is Lydia passive. Right, so Lydia's passive, in case you're not aware, Death Hold, she denies enemy revive attempts, and then she'll revive everyone else, or she'll revive herself, and this skill ignores block revive, right? So as far as I'm aware, that's the only way to get around this. But Lydia is fairly common in Arena, so that's just one champion to watch out for. And then his passive is actually extremely good as well. I hadn't actually realized how good this was until I got him. So, Living Armor, book it down to a 3-turn cooldown. Whenever an enemy puts a stun, freeze, sleep, or provoke debuff on this champion, instantly remove the debuff, heal him by 20% of his max HP, and boost his turn meter by 50%. So good. This, by the way, makes him good against Ice Golem. Being immune to, or removing the stun, makes him good against Clan Boss. The big draws for Arena, if we hop over real quick and we talk about some of the most annoying Arena champions, I think one small one, which does crop up, Sifi on her A1, puts sleep and you can't resist it, right? So he just sort of shrugs that off and gets turn meter boosted and goes. That's pretty nice. I think maybe even more applicable, very common, again, we're talking about top tier Arena here, someone like Prince Kaimar comes in and he has an AoE that removes all buffs and puts sleep on everyone. Very, very common to run him in the Arena. Again, basically Foli just goes, oh, thanks for the sleep. Yeah, I'm really fast now. It's my turn. Please die, which is kind of nutty. There's lots of these big champions. In Dwarves, there's a couple in Dwarves that are worth pointing out. Tormin, who we're going to see in today's video. Tormin putting out freeze debuffs. Molly as well. Molly has an AoE provoke. So these are just some examples of some of the common champions that you will see in Arena that he works well against in terms of that stuff. There's probably some more, but yeah, they're just some really common examples that I think he's great against with that passive. And in particular, I think it's fantastic for your Arena defense, especially in Tag Team Arena, because it basically means that, you know, someone wants to attack into your Arena team. If they're relying on a Torment, or if they're relying on a Prince Kaimar, or whatever you have, these top tier Arena champions, if they're relying on those crowd control effects to get wins over teams, it just really puts them off attacking, right? It really puts them off attacking because Foli's just gonna shrug that off, and it's just a pain in the ass to deal with it. It's a pain in the ass. So he actually becomes pretty viable for Arena defense. Especially with like Nukret or something like that. But yeah, let's look at his build and then we'll see him in action. So I do have him in a Savage set. Savage is the best set on, well, Lethal's the best set, which is the Fae, the Dark Fae from Doom Tower. Her version of Savage is Savage but better with some bonus crit rate on it. That's better. But Savage is pretty much your go-to, where you ignore 25% of enemy defense, makes you hit a lot harder. If you don't have good Savage pieces, it's not worth pursuing it and putting him in terrible Savage gear. You can put him in Cruel is really good. If you're earlier game and you get him, something like Offense is good. Maybe if you're early game, you're using him in Dungeon, so you might want to build him up tanky and not use this build. But basically, anything that's going to make him hit harder. I will be kind of curious, maybe the Arena meta. I'm just going to mention this right now. I am curious with the Hydra sets, will stuff change? So something like Stone Skin doesn't really give him the stats that you want, but it does give him stone skin at the start of the round, which could potentially stop him from dying or make it harder for him to be killed with nukes and stuff, maybe. But I think really Savage is the way that you're going with this. And what we're going for with the build, I've got him about 33,000 health. In terms of his base stats are actually pretty solid for a nuker. It's got what you want. His base stats, he's actually reasonably tanky for a nuker. He's fine. He's got good attack, not top tier, but very good. He's got great speed, crit damage. So yeah, he's got good solid stats. Anyway, I've built him up to 33,000 HP, which is low enough, but it's okay. He will die. He is squishy, so you got to watch out for him being killed. Almost 4,800 attack, 2,400 defense. I didn't, in fact, build this intentionally, but he just gets a decent chunk of defense just from his base defense being solid enough. 229 speed. Pity I couldn't get 230, but there you are. 100% crit rate, 250% crit damage, and then a bit of resistance and some accuracy. So yeah, that is how I've gotten built up. In terms of the masteries, fairly straightforward with the masteries. I think we do have him going through the offense tree, so he's getting more crit rate, crit damage, more damage against shields for that arena nuking. Ruthless Ambush is really important, 8% more damage first hit on each enemy, trying to just one-shot people with Sealed Fate so they can't revive. I have him with Opportunist, which goes alongside with my arena team, which I'm going to show you, where he does 12% more damage to people under CC. We have him with Single Out, more damage to targets less than 40% HP, particularly to get Bring It Down, 6% more damage against targets with higher max HP, which is going to be most people you fight. Kill Streak. And then finally, we're going to get him Helm Smasher, chance to ignore target's defense, which stacks with the Savage set and can make him hit very, very hard. Defense tree, fairly standard defensive stuff. You could skip Cycle of Revenge. You could skip this. You could get him, I think Deterrence is a decent option as well. 20% chance to counterattack. You could get him Deterrence. You could potentially go for Blood Shield, or you could potentially get Stoked to Fury, more damage at debuffs. It's kind of up to you. Honestly, I don't think this matters too much, but that's what I've got him with. But I feel like that bit's fairly flexible. For the individual pieces of gear, in case you want to see those, got weapons. We're looking for stuff with lots of crit rate, speed, crit damage, attack percent. A bit low in attack percent here. Got crit damage. There's attack percent. Gloves with lots of attack percent and speed. We've got lots of other pieces with tons of crit rate to pick up the slack. Attack percentage chest. Speed boots. And if you're earlier game and you're not able to do this build with crit damage on the gloves, go with crit rate gloves and it makes it much easier to find other pieces. Attack on the ring, of course, no surprise there. I really need to get a ring with more attack percentage substats. This is the best I've got for now. Crit damage on the necklace, and then attack with attack percentage and speed on the banner. Only 5-star banner, so it could be better, but yeah, not too bad. Let's dive in, shall we? Let's see Foli in action. What are we going to do? So, the first place I want to bring you to, of course, it's got to be the arena. This is the highlight for Foli. I actually saw this page. It's got a nice variety of teams, so we're going to, fight this once or Nick on his own. I think that'll be a big challenge. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to go through, all these teams one by one. We might lose to some of them, but that's okay. Let's just see how it goes. The rest of my team, by the way, if you want to see more info on these champions, let me know. And I will do that, but I've got Arbiter. She's into, obviously, Arbiter, Speed Aura, Increase Attack. She's a little bit slow, so I have brought in Tormin. I mean, Void Legendary, yeah, but, this is my actual team. I'm not going to, in this video, I want to show you, endgame Foli. I don't want to, put in really crappy champions for the sake of it. No, this is the stuff I'm actually going to use on my main account right now, whatever, a year and a half into the game. Foli is the best thing in here. This is the best team. So he's putting freezes if we're not fast enough because Arbiter's slow. Lanicus fills turn meter and does ally attack, which is nice with Torment. And then, yeah, Foli's just going to come in and nuke. So that's what the team does. Let's go. And we should win this first one pretty easily. Unless, I don't know, we get super unlucky with Torment. But no, we're faster than them. Come on with the ally attack. She's targeted the wrong thing, but that's okay. And here comes Foli. Bam. Absolutely smashes through. We might play the next one a little bit slower, but you could see right there that he absolutely smashes hard. Now, this is a tougher team. We've got Arbiter, Duchess, Lilitu, Trunda, and this. So let's see how it goes. This one we might lose. We could, we'll do this one not on auto and on 1x speed. Good, we're actually faster. That makes this a lot easier. So Arbiter's obviously turn meter boosting, increasing attack. We're going to do our ally attack targeted on Arbiter. She is the fastest one and one of the revivers. Just want to see. I also want to be looking out and seeing, do any of them have reaction accessories? So far, no. And then here we come in with Foli. One thing I actually find is good with Foli, his AI is kind of smart. So right now I could Sealed Fate and just kill off Trunda, which would basically probably win the fight. But it might be overkill on the Trunda. Let's see where he targets with this. Bam, he's killed the Trunda. Okay, so he wasn't that smart that time. He wasn't that smart that time. I'm not sure who he targeted with the second attack, but he didn't fire it off. He clearly picked either Trunda or Lysandra there for the second attack. Yeah, what I was trying to say, and half the time I do feel like he can be kind of smart where he targets someone that actually needs the second attack to die, because the AI is just big brain and sort of sees that stuff. This one is a bit of a harder team. Now again, like I said, we do have a bit of an advantage where potentially Rotos, potentially Foli can one-shot Rotos, or more specifically two-shot Rotos. So we're going to target Sifi first. The issue here, right, he's killed Sifi, he didn't quite kill Rotos. There's quite a lot of healing coming in from Vogoth, which sucks. Oh man, I hate Rotos. Look at him getting bloody extra turns. Right, he's come in and killed him. I hate Rotos. He's one of my least favorite champions to fight. So this is kind of dodgy. This is definitely kind of dodgy. Let's take manual control and see if we can win it anyway. Do we go for the revive? Yeah, we do. Gonna boost again. You know what? Just smack him twice. Just kill him. Just make sure he dies. Okay, now we're good. We can just leave it on auto and let them duke things out. You get to see Foli's other animations and stuff like that. But yeah, so this fight was kind of nasty because they had the shield from Brogni. He had a shield set, or one of them had a shield set. And then Vogoth was healing, so he actually couldn't kill the Rotos straight out. And then Rotos started doing Rotos bullshit where he's like, I procced extra turns off this counterattack that I procced. It's my turn now. I'm going to kill everyone. So that kind of sucked. But you see how it's going. Here we go, another team. Let's go in. We've got Duchess, Sir Nick. Yeah. But yeah, there you go. One thing, again, in terms of Foli, right? You're going, does it matter that he doesn't do... Well, here it kind of matters a bit. Does it matter that he doesn't do as much damage as, whatchamacallem, as, because he hasn't killed anyone, as Trunda? Yes and no. You can see in this team, he struggled to actually kill them. They had the increased defense from Seeker, and I guess we got a bit unlucky with our procs, and they have the AoE damage reduction from her as well. We're still ripping through, of course, but we don't have any decreased defense or weaken on this team. We've got nothing to boost our damage. This team looks scary. Let's try this one first. We'll come to this one next. But yeah, we don't have decreased defense. We don't have weaken, but this still works. Oh, look at this. So we were too slow here, but Tormund saved us. So that's why Tormund's in the team. We weren't fast enough to beat that Arbiter. We weren't quite doing enough damage to kill them off, but we should still be fine. The danger here is that she can revive Arbiter. Look at that. Oh, look at that. Perfect. Did you see what happened there? Did you guys catch it? So Molly, her AI must be programmed not to revive. It's programmed to do her provoke first, or else he set it up that way. She provoked them, which boosted Foli, and then Foli killed them. That was quite hilarious. But yeah, you can see in these last couple of fights, we've sort of lacked the damage without decreased defense and weaken to actually get those kills. So, I mean, that's sort of the sacrifice that this team I've put together. We have the coverage for speed with all of this, but sometimes we lack the damage. You can absolutely put him in with something like a Lydia to put decrease defense and weaken out. That's a really good combo. You can do other sort of stuff. This team's going to be interesting. Candrafon, I'd say, is like one champion that's super scary for Foli. I'd say Candrafon is very scary. He's red affinity. Foli is squishy, so Foli won't be able to kill him. And here we get frozen by Tormund. So I'm curious. I think we lose this one. I think, yeah, we just get one shot. So yeah, there we go. There you go. We got Tormund ourselves right there. Tormund turned against us. Foli got frozen. So what can happen is that when Arbiter turn meter boosts, she applies a buff and a turn meter increase, and Tormund has a chance to freeze on both of those. So what you can do is Foli can break free from whichever one comes first, and then get frozen again on the second one. But generally speaking, I would avoid Candrafon. Here's another team. Yeah, let's restore this, sure. And hit this one, and then let's show him in some other content. I think you get the idea. You see how he works. I know I've only really shown one team here, but again, this is my actual team that I use, and you can see how good he is. You can see his damage output against these teams. Again, bear in mind, they do get some damage reduction. Look at that. He's ripped through. So yeah, Arbiter's still alive. Okay, well, she's provoked. Well, Arbiter's still alive, but I mean, with another nuker, potentially right there, she could have AoE revived everyone, then heal them up, fill their turn meter again, and give them increased attack. Didn't matter, she's alive. He blocked revive on everyone. They're dead. They're not coming back. Like, GG, game over. So, yeah, it gives you an idea for what Foli can do. Quickly, in terms of top players, let's see. There might be some Folies in here. There might not be. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's too many right now. Oh, there's one. So we got a +4 Foli in there. So he's gone a lot. This is a pretty nice team. Foli's in there with Hegemon and a Nukret. So the Nukret, I presume, is probably going to protect Foli. Hegemon does his nuke at the start. Foli does his nuke. Then Kaimar probably resets them and they go again, something like that. So there's some Folies here, even in the top defenses. Not super common, but he's there. Here's another Foli. He's in with Krisk, a Sifi, and a Kaimar. So just some examples of these like top tier, absolute top tier arena players. Another +4 Foli. Actually, this is something worth mentioning. Again, he's going in with the Nukret there to keep him alive even more. And then his own sort of CC protection. One thing worth mentioning, guys, is that he is available for Mega Whale. If you are a Mega Whale, if you have, you know, thousands and thousands of spare money lying around, you want to get a +4 Foli, you can. You know, just get a bunch of legendaries, feed them into the Unbinder, and buy a bunch of Folies and make yourself a +4 Foli, and he's gonna be just the strongest nuker in the game. Well, until you get like other +4s. But yeah, he's absolutely up there. All right, so that was Arena. I also want to show you Faction Wars to give you a sense for how he would perform in dungeons as well. Actually, just to mention again the strengths of the dungeons in case I wasn't clear. I think for dungeons, he's going to be fine for Dragon Slayer. Dragon Slayer is pretty easy. He's going to be fine for that. Nothing exceptional, but he's decent. Spiders, not very good. You know, his random hitter, you can't block revive on the spiderlings. They just respawn, so nothing really happening there. Fire Knight, I think he's good for. Very good, because he's so many multi-hits. Literally all of his attacks are multi-hits, so he'd be a good early game champion to knock down the shield, although he's bad affinity for Fire Knight 20. For Ice Golem, again, I think he's pretty decent, because he can block revive on those adds on the side, right? Which can make your Ice Golem run a bit better. Again, probably not really worth it at the higher levels of Ice Golem, compared to the other speed teams, but he's still gonna be good. So yeah, I'd say they're the two dungeons where he thrives, and he can be good in Demon Lord. Faction Wars, to give you a sense for what that would look like, he is in my Faction War 21 team right now. So let's see how he does. This team is not 100% consistent, so let's see. Hopefully it works here, and it works fine the first time. But here he is in Faction Wars. One fun thing with this team, this is obviously a full Lego endgame team as well. Actually, it's not a full Lego team. We've got Rian the Conjurer in too. Foli just weak hit half of them because they're red affinity. That's a bit sad. Foli making himself look bad. This is the bit that kind of sucks. So, Madame Ceres would, I believe, strip this off. But Rian isn't smart enough. Basically, Rian the Conjurer comes in, right? I built out Rian for this specifically, and then I realized her AI doesn't work. And we don't have the ability to make specific, like... I think they talked about adding more AI presets so that we could actually have teams. I don't have any spare teams for AI presets between Dungeons and Doom Tower to do this. But yeah, basically, old Rian comes along, and Rian is like, oh, looky here. Looky here. You've already got AoE weaken on you from Lydia. I guess, you know, I could remove that unkillable buff, but I could just place block buffs. I could just play. No, Rian, there we go. Remove the buff. Foli can have a kill. There we go. Weak hit. Beautiful. Now we're on to wave 2. This can be really nasty with the whatchamacallums here, especially when she doesn't taunt. But look at that nuke from Foli. Not too bad. We have half the Valkyries are dead. A little bit of a nuke coming out from Ruel. They're mostly dead. Can Foli rip through some more shields here? Hopefully so. This would be another good... Yeah, there we go. Decent damage from Foli. Decent damage. But we're getting through... This is like a super endgame team, so, you know, this is not reflecting your progress, but it still gives you a sense of what Foli can do well. I do think he combos well with Ruel, and that's like all the damage you'll ever need. Just because that increased accuracy allows Foli to place the decreased defense, and to place the leech, which will help you through this boss a bit, although the boss now has block buff, so that's not going to happen. Yeah, Foli's going to go in, and he's just going to be damaging these side adds. I want to play this through so we can see the damage from the end. I think Foli's probably going to die here. Most definitely. I've got so little healing, and he hasn't placed a leech yet to heal himself. He's doing a sealed fate. You can see the nuke on that side ad is really nice. So now it becomes sort of a race against HP burn and turn meter. Foli, no, oh, and he's down. Don't worry, I lied. Rian the Conjurer revives him, we're fine. Foli's back in the action. Haha. We will still get worn down by HP burn though. So it's still a little bit up in the air, but that's okay. I did used to use Lanicus in this team, but I found Lanicus was just really bad. You can see the leech there's on and the healing that they're getting now from hitting the boss. That's thanks to Foli. Lanicus used to just screw us up against the Valkyrie. So yeah, 2 minutes 35, not too bad. In terms of the damage, you guys can see it. Poor old Ruel is booked out and everything. His gear's not quite as good, but it's just because of his awkwardness with his setup. He needs to apply his Hex to hit twice with his AoE. Ruel's damage actually kind of lacking. Physics actually beat him this time, but Foli miles ahead of the rest of them. Foli's absolutely crushing it. But yeah, there you guys go. That is Foli. I think that's pretty much all you need to see about him. Hits really hard, great utility with blocking revive and breaking free of a few forms of hard crowd control in the arena. Great for faction wars, going to be good for early game dungeons clan boss. I mean, you can see in the ratings, people love him. Fire Knights, they love him. Arena, Demon Lord, Ice Golem with a block revive. And he's fine for dragons and minotaurs. I actually think he's better than that for arena defense, and obviously he's great for faction wars. I think he's better for arena defense than that, just because of his passive, though he is fairly squishy. That's the only downside, really. You know, you cannot build him to be tanky and still do damage. You got to make that choice. But yeah, that is Foli. I hope you enjoyed seeing some, you know, late game arena there and blowing stuff up and late game faction wars with one of the coolest champions in the game. Like, man, he is so cool. Guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.